PR Connections Radio presents
Golden Knights Nation. Welcome to Vegas Hockey Hub. I'm your host, Ian McKelly. And what an amazing night it was for everybody here in Las Vegas and all Golden Knights fans all around the world as you had your banner night for the Vegas Golden Knights. Got to celebrate hoisting the Stanley Cup banner all the way up into the rafters at T-Mobile Arena. And despite it being the opening game, it was an absolute incredible experience, and especially for Season 7 of the Vegas Golden Knights organization. And I also will say that since this is technically Season 2 of Vegas Hockey Hub, I appreciate everybody who has been a part of Vegas Hockey Hub. Now, I'm your host, Ian McKelly. If you want to follow me on social media, there is my Twitter down below at Ian McKelly18. And if you want to support PR Connections Radio, the voice of new media, go to our website, prconnectionsradio.com. Check out all the content we have on there, all of the shows we have on PR Connections Radio. There's a bunch of fantastic content here on PR Connections Radio, including Vegas Hockey Hub. And if you're on the YouTube channel, welcome in. And if you want to subscribe and hit the like button, that would be very much appreciated. I like all the support everyone has on here. So, as we have the Golden Knights Banner Night recap here on Vegas Hockey Hub, I want to very quickly get to the opening day roster for your Vegas Golden Knights. As you see here, right Ivan Barbashev, Jack Eichel, and Jonathan Marchessault on line 1. You had Brett Howden, Chandler Stevenson, and Mark Stone on line 2. Paul Cotter, William Karlsson, and Michael Amadio on line 3. William Carrier, Nick Waugh, and Keegan Kolazar on line 4. And then on the defensive pairings, you had Nick Hague and Alex Pietrangelo on the first one. Braden McNabb, Shea Theodore on pairing 2. Braden Bahal and Ben Hutton on defensive pairing 3. And, of course, your 2 goalies, Aiden Hill and Logan Thompson. Now, the healthy scratches, which are not on here, but I will read out to you now. You had Jacob Demick, Pavel Dorofeev, and Caden Korzak. Korzak and Dorofeev were out there for the opening warm-ups. They were skating around with the team. It was good to see. Heck, they even put Caden Korzak up on the board when they were presenting all the players for the warm-ups. They had Carrier on there, Marchessault, Eichel. They had a lot of the guys on there. And the fact that Caden Korzak, they presented on the screen, that was a nice touch there. And somebody that is not on here, which we do need to talk about just for a split second. Yes, it was reported before the game went on the air that Maxime Comtois was indeed released from his PTO. The Vegas Golden Knights decided to not sign Maxime Comtois. Now, it's unfortunate, and maybe in the future he could be signed to like a 2-way deal. Maybe there's an opportunity Vegas could bring him back at some point, but it just wasn't in the cards for Comtois as he was unsigned, not picked up from his PTO. That happened before the game. And before we break down the action and get into what happened in the game tonight, I have a small rant I need to do real quick. Hey, ESPN, can you get your scheduling correct? Like, I'm not even going to get into the Leah Hextall situation because, yes, there was some annoying parts on the broadcast with Leah Hextall, but you know what? I'm going to let that go. The main problem I have with ESPN is they kept pushing back the puck time. They kept pushing back the start, and it kept on happening again and again and again. In fact, we had an opening puck drop of about 8 p.m. Pacific time, which means, by the way, if you're an East Coast fan or if you're from the UK and you're a Golden Knights fan, oh boy, what time difference that was for you. But I will say when it comes to the Vegas Golden Knights, having that late of start time, now opening night is not going to matter. I'm going to put this on record. Opening night is not going to be this big of a deal. It didn't matter what time it was on opening night. Everybody and their great-great-grandmother who are Golden Knights fans were going to watch the banner ceremony. They were going to watch Mark Stone carry out the Stanley Cup, which he did, by the way, and it was a very nice touch. The fact that Mark Stone skated around with the Stanley Cup, and he did the little ceremony, and he had the prop slot machine, which was a very nice touch as well. But I will say, when it comes to Mark Stone, him doing what he did, I will give a lot of props to him. But yeah, back to the ESPN thing real quick. I understand you have Sidney Crosby. I get you have Connor Bedard. The first game in the regular season for Connor Bedard, the guy who is the face of the franchise and a potential superstar in the NHL. I get it. But it just felt ridiculous. Like when the Blackhawks and Penguins were tied at 2, getting towards the end of the third period, we all know that in overtime would have happened. The Blackhawks and Penguins, it still would have been going on. So I will say to ESPN, hopefully for the rest of the season, that does not happen. Because if you have a kid, if you're a parent, if you have to go to work the next morning, yeah, that was kind of brutal. The fact that you didn't get home until about 11 or midnight in some cases. But let's get to that banner ceremony, by the way, because here is the picture from the Stanley Cup, and I'm going to put it on the full screen for you. What an incredible moment that will last for the Vegas Golden Knights for all of history. I mean, that Stanley Cup banner is going to be in the rafters here, now, and forever. Regardless if you're at T-Mobile Arena in the year 2071 or if you go to T-Mobile Arena tomorrow, it doesn't matter what time period you go, that Stanley Cup banner will be on the rafters. It will be hanging from the ceiling, as T-Mobile Arena will always have a Stanley Cup banner for your Vegas Golden Knights. And getting to see it in person, got to take some photos of it, and in fact, I sent one to Sinbin, and that was pretty good interaction there. By the way, shout out to Sinbin Vegas, by the way, because I'm going to have to use you later as a reference, so please don't come after me, please. Thank you. All right, so getting back to the banner recap here for the Vegas Golden Knights on our recap show here on Vegas Hockey Hub. I'm your host, Ian Rickelli. But what happened during the game, you might ask? Because there was a lot that happened in the game. There was so much action and so much that happened throughout the entire game against Seattle once the puck dropped. But very quickly, before we get into that, I just want to mention this for a split second. 6 years ago to the day, we had the inaugural ceremony. We had the original home opener for the Vegas Golden Knights, 6 years to the day, October 10th, 2017. And everyone who was here in Vegas will remember the tribute the Vegas Golden Knights did to the 58 members that passed away and the 58 people who passed away on 1 October, the mass shooting that happened here in Vegas in 2017. So I will say, for all the people in Las Vegas, I want to take just a quick second and remember that 6 years ago on October 10th, 2017, we had the tribute and we had the Vegas Strong. We had our pretty much our default captain, Derek England. He did a speech, and it was something that Golden Knights fans will remember forever as a tribute to what happened with Vegas Strong and the 58 people who died on 1 October. Now, let's get to the actual game itself, because when it comes to the actual game, there's a lot we can talk about. As in the first period, 7 minutes into the game, after a nice display of offensive footwork, Chandler Stevenson gets his first goal of the game. In fact, he had to leap in the air at one point to get the goal. And Chandler Stevenson did an efficient situation, got the puck in the back of the net, and did what he had to do to put the Golden Knights up 1-0 on the board. Now, I will give credit where credit is due. Good assist by Mark Stone. Brett Howden was credited with the assist as well. And when it came to Chandler Stevenson, I love what he has done here in Vegas. When he came from Washington, he was really regarded as somebody that really didn't have that much attention. He comes to Vegas sort of as a misfit himself, and now he has become an all-star here in Vegas. And I love the fact that Chandler Stevenson has become not just a fan favorite, but he has become a mainstay here in Vegas. So after some nice footwork and a great goal by Chandler Stevenson. It was 1-0 Vegas. And being at T-Mobile Arena, I can tell you the crowd went berserk when the goal happened. You could hear the yelling from the media center. You could hear it from the upper section, the lower section, the middle section. It didn't matter what section you were in. The crowd was on its feet, and the crowd was electrified when Chandler Stevenson scored the first goal of the season and made it 1-0 Vegas. Now, about 7 minutes later, the face of the franchise, the Conn Smythe Trophy winner, the playoff MVP, Jonathan Marchessault, scored after a nice rebound and a good redirect. Jonathan Marchessault put the puck in the back of the net, got it past Philip Grubauer to make it a 2-0 game for the Vegas Golden Knights as they were getting into the 14-minute mark of the first period. And what I like about Jonathan Marchessault is after he scored the goal, he kind of just chuckled. He had like a kind of smile on his face. Like, really, did that just happen? But yeah, it definitely did happen in a good situation. And as you exited the second period, it was Vegas 2, Seattle 0. And the momentum was definitely in Vegas's favor. Like that first period, Vegas definitely outperformed Seattle. There's no doubt about it. Is that first period displayed that when Vegas is running on all cylinders, when the Vegas Golden Knights have everybody on the same page, that they do a lot of efficient work. Ben Hutton left the ice at one point and then came back a few minutes later. Hopefully that is not an injury that is long-term. Hopefully it was just a situation that needed to be checked out real quick. But I did want to mention it that Ben Hutton in the first period did leave for a quick second, but eventually came back in the game. Moving on to the second period, not even 90 seconds into the second period, Ivan Barbashev, the guy who got the nice contract extension to stay in Vegas this past offseason, puts the puck past Philip Grubauer. Nice assist by Brayden McNabb to make it 3-0 for the Vegas Golden Knights. And I will say about Ivan Barbashev, something I really want to point out is that Ivan Barbashev is so good at being physical. Now, regardless if it is on the offensive side, on the defensive side, when it comes to Ivan Barbashev, he knows how to be physical, but more importantly, he knows how to do it correctly. He understands that there are certain situations that require physical play. Then there are some moments that does not require it. Also going to give a shout out to Paul Cotter as well. He made a lot of good hits in this game. In fact, there was one or two hits that Paul Cotter created that created opportunities on the other side for the Vegas Golden Knights. There was a good amount of takeaways, and there was some good opportunities to transition from defense to offense in this game. So props to Ivan Barbashev and Paul Cotter for their physical play in this game. I mean, Ivan Barbashev did incredibly well for your Vegas Golden Knights as he picks up his first goal of the season, 90 seconds in the second period. Now, a few minutes later, almost at the halfway point of the second period, Jared McCann, the former Vancouver Canuck, former Pittsburgh Penguin, the guy who was a Toronto Maple Leaf for the span of 1 week, he scored for the Seattle Kraken. First goal of the season for him. He was assisted by Edmonton Oilers legend Jordan Eberle. So, yeah, unfortunately, Adin Hill would not have a shutout tonight. But when it came to the Vegas Golden Knights, they were still up 3-1 when it came to the Seattle Kraken and Vegas Golden Knights game. Now, a few minutes later, something unfortunate happened to your Vegas Golden Knights. And once again, I got to give credit to Sinbin here. This is not my tweet. Bruce Cassidy said that William Carrier has an upper body injury. Hopefully, it's nothing long-term. But he added, when a guy doesn't come back, it's not a good sign. Shout out to Sinbin for the tweet, by the way. But when it comes to William Carrier, it definitely was unfortunate seeing what happened to him in the second period. The fact that he did not return meant that Brett Howden had to play on the second and the fourth line for a little bit of time until after the second period, something would happen involving Brett Howden. And I'm not just going to say anything. In fact, I'm just going to show you the clip that happened with Brett Howden, and I'm going to let you decide what you think about it. So that was correct. We had a 5-minute major, a match penalty to begin the third period by Brett Howden, as he had a hit to the head on Brandon Tanev, the former Pittsburgh Penguin. And I will say with Brett Howden, it was a dumb penalty. There's really no nice way to put it. That was a penalty you really shouldn't have taken. That is kind of an unfortunate mistake by Brett Howden. He got a match penalty. He was kicked out of the game by the Vegas Golden Knights. Now, here on Vegas Hockey Hub, we are not going to speculate what is going to happen to Brett Howden. All we know is that anytime there's a hit to the head, the NHL Department of Player Safety will get involved. So we will know from Brendan Shanahan, we will know from people in the NHL what Brett Howden's potential outcome will be. But wanted to show you that video clip. Of course, it is muted. Don't want to get copyrighted strike. Don't want to get a copyright from the NHL. I will just say when it comes to Brett Howden, that match penalty, very unfortunate, but also because he got kicked out for the third time that night, there had to be a new winger on the fourth line with Waugh and with Kolazar, because Will Carrier had gotten out of the game earlier in the second period with an injury, and then Brett Howden with a match penalty early in the third period. Now, one positive I will give your Vegas Golden Knights, and I will give a whole lot of credit to guys like Jack Eichel and Ivan Barbashev for, is how they managed to kill off a 5-minute major against the Seattle Kraken. See, Vegas Golden Knights fans, we get like PTSD from 5-minute majors. I mean, we have to give all the credit to the San Jose Sharks for the reason why we don't like 5-minute majors. But thankfully, your Vegas Golden Knights held on and didn't even give up a single goal while killing off a 5-minute major for the Vegas Golden Knights as they took on the Seattle Kraken. And by the way, one heck of a performance by Adin Hill. It's live, folks. Anything can happen. Adin Hill had one heck of a performance by the Vegas Golden Knights. I mean, there's a reason why Adin Hill is getting a lot of praise and is becoming a fan favorite here in Vegas. Anybody who knows the warm-ups, when they showed Adin Hill on the screen, he got a massive pop by T-Mobile Arena. The fans were loud when Adin Hill popped up on the screen. They also did the same thing for Chandler Stevenson, for William Karlsson, Jonathan Marchessault. But Adin Hill got a massive pop at T-Mobile Arena when they did the warm-up. So I will say fantastic performance by Adin Hill. He did one heck of a job at T-Mobile Arena. Going to give all the credit to what Adin Hill did last night. And then the insurance policy goal by your Vegas Golden Knights. At the 18-minute mark, an empty net by Seattle. And Jack Eichel, an alternate captain for this year, he put the puck in the back of the net to make it a 4-1 game for your Vegas Golden Knights. And I will say that Jack Eichel did one heck of a job tonight. He did really good on the power play and did exceptionally well when it came to killing off that major. Assisted by Chandler Stevenson, and his second assist of the night, Mark Stone, our captain. So it was really an exceptional game. And I will say when it comes to the Vegas Golden Knights, they did incredibly well. The stats that are put up on the screen, as you see right here, the Vegas Golden Knights won 4-1. And despite taking 5 less shots than the Seattle Kraken, put 4 in the back of the net. Both teams did not score a power play goal in this game. And the Vegas Golden Knights won the face-off competition. They pretty much won almost 60% of their face-off opportunities on the night against Seattle. And you see the hits there, 20-15. So the Vegas Golden Knights could be physical if they had to. And credit to Paul Cotter and Ivan Barbashev for that situation. So as we are talking about the Vegas Golden Knights doing the banner night here and recapping it on Vegas Hockey Hubs. We're going to be recapping every game during this season for your Vegas Golden Knights. The player of the game has to go to Adin Hill. He stopped 32 of 33 saves, a .970 save percentage on the night for Adin Hill. There was a few saves he made throughout the night where if he wasn't in the net and it was somebody else, I don't know if that would have been saved. The way he is athletic, the way he's versatile, I like how Adin Hill performs in the net. So he is definitely player of the game for your Vegas Golden Knights on banner night here on Vegas Hockey Hub. And I'm going to give all the credit in the world to Adin Hill. He did pretty well. And I did mention this briefly before, but Jack Eichel doing a noticeable job on the power play. He is someone who has brought in a lot of good to the Vegas Golden Knights. So on those 4 opportunities on the power play, Jack Eichel was a noticeable difference when it came to the Vegas Golden Knights. The way he protected the puck, the way he made sure it wouldn't get onto a Seattle stick. He did really well for your Vegas Golden Knights on the power play. Let's expect more of that for the Vegas Golden Knights in the long-term future. And I do have to mention one downside or one negative on the night, and that is the unnecessary penalties by your Vegas Golden Knights. So the Vegas Golden Knights had 4 penalties in the game. We already mentioned the match penalty with Brett Howden, which is definitely unnecessary. That hit to the head should have not happened. Really not the smartest play, not the best play by Brett Howden. But early in the game, you had a high sticking penalty. You had a roughing penalty. There was a bunch of stuff that happened in the Vegas Golden Knights game. You had a call on Braden Bahal in the second period. You had the call on Nick Hague at one point. So I will say that when it comes to the Vegas Golden Knights, it's unfortunate, but there was some unnecessary penalties in this game. And I do have to mention everyone watching around the world that as we are doing these recaps, as we are going to be doing, game 40 of 82, when we do game 81 of 82, regardless of when we do it, there's going to be 4 constants on every recap show. So not only am I going to present you with slides, kind of like showing you physical parts, if there's a good clip that we need to show in terms of video, we are going to do that, like the Brett Howden hit on Brandon Tanev. We also are going to do player of the game at the end. That's something that's very valuable, very important. And more importantly, the last part we're going to do is we are also going to give credit to the opposite team, because I feel like a lot of recap shows don't really do that. They mainly focus on their team and their team only. And hey, I get it. It's the Vegas Hockey Hub recapping Golden Knights games. But I do want to give a little bit of credit to the Seattle Kraken. Now, this is a team that made it to the playoffs last year. I will not be shocked if they are at least a wild card team once again in the Western Conference. And when it comes to Seattle, they did play a hard-working effort. They did put some work in, and the Jared McCann goal was a nice touch by them. Philip Grubauer, look, he tried. He let up 4 goals tonight, but there are some saves he made that would have made it 6-1 or 7-1. So he did have some good opportunities there. Now that we have that out of the way, what is going on with Alec Martinez and Zach Whitecloud? Because there has been a lot of photos that have come out recently. There are videos and stuff that's happened with Zach Whitecloud and with Alec Martinez. And of course, we're not going to speculate on the William Carrier situation. We'll just let that develop naturally. So with Zach Whitecloud, we have seen photos of, we saw photos of him earlier, and it is questionable how long Zach Whitecloud will be out. Now, we saw Braden Bahal. We saw Ben Hutton on the ice. It seems like they can manage for now. They can really take the reins for the Vegas Golden Knights. Even if there is one more defenseman injury, Caden Korzak, a healthy scratch on opening night, he can step in if he has to. But Alec Martinez being in a sling, we saw at Allegiant Stadium when they did the Monday night ceremony where they raised the cup at Allegiant Stadium. Alec Martinez was there, and there was a photo taken of him in a sling. So normally that's not a good situation when you see a guy who's a key member of your team in a sling. Best case scenario is that he's rehabbing it. So he had it in a sling to try to rehab as quick as possible. But we'll have to wait and see what happens with Alec Martinez, just like we'll have to wait and see what happens with Zach Whitecloud. So as we are doing our banner recap here on Vegas Hockey Hub, I'm your host, Ian Rickelli. I will mention to everyone watching all around the world that there are some future games coming up and games that we will be recapping. So on the 13th at 8 a.m., we are going to be doing a recap of the San Jose Sharks and the Vegas Golden Knights. That is going to be a rivalry game. I will not be surprised if there's a lot of physicality in that game, but we are going to recap that on Friday morning. And then on Sunday morning, before the NFL kickoff games, we are going to be doing our Vegas Golden Knight recap of the Ducks and the Golden Knights. So on Sunday morning at 8 a.m. and Friday morning at 8 a.m., we are going to be doing recaps of the Ducks and the Sharks game for Vegas Hockey Hub. We also are going to be doing our NHL season prediction show. That'll be at 6:30 p.m. tonight. So for everybody who is watching on PR Connections Radio or on Vegas Hockey Hub, we are going to be doing our NHL prediction show. So I highly recommend to everyone turn on the notification bell and have it saved for 6:30 p.m. Pacific, 8:30 p.m. Central, or 9:30 p.m. Eastern Time, as Vegas Hockey Hub will be doing our official prediction show on Wednesday night. We also, on Thursday night, are going to be doing our NHL awards prediction. Obviously, I want to put a lot of effort and time into it. That's why I haven't been rushing it until now. So we are going to have our awards prediction on the 12th, and on the 11th will be our NHL season preview for the NHL season. And as we have about 2.5 minutes left here on the show, I also am going to mention our player profile on Pavel Dorofeev is currently in the works. We have it almost finished. So when we have it ready and good to go, we will upload it here to Vegas Hockey Hub and on PR Connections Radio. So to recap the show, Vegas Golden Knights won 4-1 over the Seattle Kraken. An amazing opening night here in Vegas. And to all the people watching around the world, go to prconnectionsradio.com, the voice of new media, and go to Vegas Hockey Hub and subscribe and like for content there. We post daily on the YouTube channel. And I will mention, go to our Twitter at Ian Rickelli18 or at Vegas Hockey Hub. So for Vegas Hockey Hub, I will be posting as the game's going on, like live game updates will be on Vegas Hockey Hub on our Twitter account. So if you want to go to at Vegas Hockey Hub, man, anybody who was on my Twitter last night, you will know that I was tweeting pretty much the entire game, making sure everybody was updated. And on my account at Ian Rickelli18, I posted a photo of what it looked like at the Fortress. Definitely check that out. And until next time, I'm your host, Ian Rickelli. And like I always say, continue watching hockey, go support junior hockey, and go Knights, go!
PR Connections Radio presents